anywhere.
And Mike.
It's time now for Comfort Time Live. Comfort Time Live is a call-in radio show educating you on issues surrounding your home. Don't become a statistic. Listen in and find out how you can protect yourself. Comfort Time Live. Comfort Time Live. And now, here's your host, your personal comfort consultant, tackling all of your home comfort issues. Here he is, Tom Platania.
All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and another great, wonderful Comfort Time live show. We are rocking and rolling. But I tell you, we had some really good stuff go on this week. My master, Cliff and Mike, they all got us all set up so we can actually do the show remote now, without any technical difficulties.
You're actually doing it from the comfort of your own home.
Absolutely. Hey, what better place to be comfortable than my home?
You can't be any more comfortable than home.
Oh,
right
yes,
now.
absolutely not. In my sweatpants, my socks, I'm chilling at my desk. I got this big giant picture window at my house, looking out onto the area out here with the trees. It's beautiful.
That sounds like a power trip to me.
What's this better than sitting in that studio staring at the four walls?
But we do so well in here.
We do. We actually do great together. So we got a great show coming up for you this evening. We hope. If not, we're still going to make it a great show. We got all kinds of great stuff coming up. I tell you, we had an awesome show today for True Radio. Now, True Radio is our other show on WSTU that we do Thursday mornings with our Fantastic Four of real estate, Andrew Sesta, Carol Morgan, Farouk Ali, and Scott McAllister. And we had fun today. We had a blast. We did a buy versus rent. You hear a lot on TV and whatnot about whether it's a good time or place for renters to start, either for them to either continue to rent or buy. What's the best thing to do? Should I continue to rent? And, a lot of folks don't really sit down and go through the numbers with you and truly give you an understanding of, what are all the fees and things that are going to be associated with me buying a house? And what are all the fees that are going to be associated with me renting a house? And you as an individual, you really have to be able to take all those things and factor them out for yourself. But you have to have a good realtor who can really provide all those to you and almost do it in an unbiased way. You think that most realtors are going to sit there, well, of course they're going to try to steer you towards buying a house. But if they give you all the information, everything that you have, and when I say information, I'm talking about what are my taxes going to look like? What can my insurance look like? What's the market been like over the past 10 years as far as appreciation of the home or depreciation of the home? So if I'm buying this house, most people think that we're buying it for an investment. So, what's an investment mean? And the value of that house has to go up. But if it doesn't go up, we can really be hurt down the road when we go to try to possibly sell that house for the difference between buy versus rent. So it was a really, really good show. And if you did miss it this morning on WSTU 1450, go to True Radio, TREU radio.com, and you can listen to it on there, watch us in there. It was funny because I was playing the renter advocate, and the realtors, of course, were playing the realtor buying advocates, and it was kind of we were teasing. It was kind of like a Mike Tyson versus Holyfield competition. And it was good. It was a good banter back and forth. We had a fun time, and it was an enjoyable show. But what we're going to be talking about this evening on Comfort Time Live, and if you'd like to call into the show, we have all kinds of great topics, but if you'd like to call into the show, you want to give us a call, 772-340-1590. We'll be happy to take your call about any topic that you want to talk about. But tonight, we're going to be talking about something that's called Title 24. Anybody from California out there, or Texas? If anybody from California or Texas, you probably know what I'm talking about when I say this. Title 24 has to do with building codes in California. We're going to be talking about that tonight. I something that could potentially dramatically affect the housing market in South Florida or in Florida in general in the very, very near future. So you folks are going to want to make sure you stand by and that you find out what's going on with that, because it's I see it as a plus, and we're going to tell you the details about it. But I see it as a plus, but just like a lot of things, change hurts. And most of us that own homes or building homes, now the people that are building homes, they're already kind of in compliance with this in a sense. However, the people that are going to buy or sell their homes don't. And this is where there might be another monkey wrench thrown into it. Now in Texas, something like this is already in play. And and now California is the next on the list. And as you know, pretty much after Texas and California go, Florida follows, because they're probably three of the most efficient states around. So it's very important to take a look at that. So, hey, don't forget, ComfortTimeLive.com is the place you can go if you'd like to watch or listen to the show. If you want to chat with us in the chat room, maybe you're a little shy to pick up the phone and call, go to the chat room on Comfort Time Live, right on the front page. You don't have to sign in. You don't need a user ID or password or anything like that. Just go to ComfortTimeLive.com and you go ahead and chat your question there. So if you have any questions about your home, about any of our topics we've had on the show, maybe you heard me talk about the buy versus rent. You want to ask a question about that, you're more than welcome to. And we're going to talk about that on the show. So ComfortTimeLive.com. Hey, don't forget to follow us on Twitter if you like to play around with all that stuff. We'd love to have you as a Twitter follower. We'd love to have you as a Facebook follower. So just go to Facebook and you'll be able to see any updates, any upcoming shows. Maybe there's a show coming up. You'll find us on Facebook. And just go Comfort Time Live on either one. Comfort Time Live on Facebook, Comfort Time Live on Twitter. And you'll be able to see what's coming up, chat with us, kind of pass on information you may have that can be really good for us to provide on some of the other shows. We got some great topics. Next week or so, we got all kinds of great national guests coming on the show. And I don't know if you heard some of the other national guests we've had over the past week or so. It was actually really, really good. So I'm glad to hear that. So, all right. So let's talk a little bit about some other stuff. So we're gonna have we're talking about the Title 24. Before we go into Title 24, let's kind of preempt it with something. Title 24 is going to kind of bring to the forefront realtors utilizing licensed and trained contractors. Now, what do I mean by that? A lot of realtors who are not as familiar with the construction laws and codes tend to recommend handymen. Nothing wrong with a good handyman. Some of these guys out there are fabulous. Some of them know a lot more than some of the contractors. However, there's laws that are put in place to protect you as the homeowner, but also those laws can work against you if you do not hire. Now, it all depends on if what needs to be done requires a licensed contractor. And the easiest way to do that is just pick up the phone and call your local building department. But here's what's happening that you really need to be aware of this. I know we've talked about this before. Is when people are going to buy and sell their homes, and this is happening more and more lately, houses, in fact, one of our realtors on True Radio had this recently happen to her. That's kind of why we brought the topic up, is when they went to close on the house and do the title searches and whatnot, there was found that years ago things were done and they were never permitted. When they went back to find out who did the work, find out that the person who did the work was not licensed to do the work. So it created all kinds of issues. You could end up spending thousands and thousands of dollars, because if you are the seller It's going to be your responsibility. You may think that you're going to save a couple pennies up front by using some guy who's $50, $100, $200, $1,000, $2,000 less expensive because he's just the guy down the street. He's a handyman. Okay, great. If he's a handyman and he can do the work and it's not required to pull a permit and he doesn't have to have the specific licenses to do it, then, you know what? That's great. Because I tell you, I know a couple handyman guys that don't have licenses, and I would put my faith in them 100%. But it's not a matter of that, okay? It's a matter of is that it's you as the homeowner that are going to get hit when it comes time to sell your house, and you're going to think 5 years ago I saved myself a couple $1,000, but now at the end what's going to happen is I'm going to have to go to do the title searches and stuff, and I'm going to find out that there's either all kinds of open permits or there's going to be stuff that was never permitted that was supposed to be permitted, and you cannot sell that home. The home cannot be titled, it cannot be transferred, it cannot be sold until those issues are taken care of. And now you have just created a whirlwind of problems. Okay? So you got to do it right. You got to find the right people. So what you want to find out is any of this work that's being done. Okay, let's say you're buying the house now. You ask your realtor, do they have a list of vendors or people that you can use to do certain work in your house? A good realtor should have a strong, updated list of vendors or people that you can contact for anything in your home, from appliances to kitchen cabinets to tile to roof. A good realtor is going to have all that information. Why? Because it's good customer service. So they're providing you a service. The service is, a good realtor should not be just here. Let me get the home for you, give me my commission, see you later, goodbye. No, they should be sticking with you before, during, and after. They should be lifelong partners with you to help make sure that everything is taken care of. And you know what? Make sure you're happy in your home. Maybe you decide down the road that you want to buy another home or you want to sell that one. A good realtor is going to stick with you. So you got to find someone who's going to have a list of all those people. Now you need to find out yourself. Don't rely on somebody else. Don't rely, and we hope's not a strategy. We hope that our realtor is being forthright with us. But once again, it's your responsibility to verify the information. To a point you want to trust until it's time not to trust. But in order for you to feel comfortable that you can trust that person, you might want to do a little bit of validation in the beginning. Okay, ask some questions, get some answers, do some validation on the answers to those questions. Then you got to feel a little bit more comfortable with that person. So if there's going to be some work being done, let's say it's kitchen cabinets, and maybe what's being done with the kitchen cabinets doesn't necessarily need a licensed contractor. So you call the building department, you tell the building department what's going to be done. The building department's probably going to ask you a couple questions. Is there going to be any electrical work being done? Is there going to be any structural work being done? So on and so forth. You'll answer the questions. The building department's going to tell you, no, you don't need a licensed contractor. You don't need to pull a permit. What harm was that? It took about a minute or two out of your time, all right, to make the phone call, to find out if it needed to be done. And the worst case scenario is if they say, well, actually, yes, you need a licensed contractor to do that, and they will have to pull a permit. Well, that's not the worst case scenario, because now you probably just saved yourself a lot of headache down the road. All right, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to take our first quick break here. And when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more in depth about that. But then we're going to talk about what is Title 24. You need to pay attention to this. This is for Southern California Title 24. You're listening to Cover Time Live here on WSTU and WSL.
There's nothing to it.
Illegal Electric.
Ooh, amazing.
Illegal Electric.
Woogie, 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 woogie.
Elite
Electric specializes in all of your electrical needs, from security lighting to surge protection and everything in between. How do you think they got their name? Elite Electric. Elite Electric has been family-owned and operated on the Treasure Coast since 1988, and they're recommended by Comfort Time Live. Visit online at eliteelectricandair.com and learn more about their services. Elite Electric. Service today. Proud sponsor of Comfort Time Live every Thursday evening at 6:05 on WPSL 1590.
No matter what you want, just pick up your phone, say, come on, Elite.
And we'll get the job done.
We can do it.
Elite Electric.
There's nothing to it.
Elite Electric.
Did the housing market catch you off guard? Did your home lose value for no apparent reason? Don't let that happen again. Call Tom Platania with Keller Williams Realty now, 882-5700, where the first 25 people will get a free home value package worth $400 to keep you ahead of the market. The market's on the rise, but can change at any minute. Did you try and sell your home and just couldn't get the value you deserved? Give Tom Platania a call, 882-5700, where the first 25 people get a free home value package worth $400 and see how you can get back into the market and get the value you deserve. That's 882-5700 for your free home value package. And now, simulcasting on both WSTU, Martin County's Heritage Station, AM 1450, and WPSL, AM 1590, the talk of the Treasure Coast. This is Comfort Time Live with Tom Platania.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully you are relaxing. Maybe you're having a nice drive home from work. Hopefully you don't But if you're sitting at home and comfortable in the chair, maybe you're sipping on your favorite beverage. I myself am planning on, I went to the store to get my usual vodka, and I thought, hey, I'm going to try something.
I was going to say the package store. I thought you were going to say beverage, and I was going to say, the package store.
So I wanted to try, I'm always looking for something new and different. I usually drink, something a little bit better. I drink a Grey Goose or a Ciroc or Kettle One or something like that. So I go to the guy in the store. I'm like, so what's something different and unusual new vodka that's out there? He recommended a Tito's vodka. Have you ever heard of that?
Tito's? No. You see, we're not up to the vodka here. We just down these kegs of beer all day long around here. We don't get into the vodka yet.
But I tell you, it's made in Texas. It's actually made in an actual still, distilled 6 times. But I tell you, it's actually really, really good. I actually thought it was a little better than the Grey Goose. So, so it was a good try. So I can't complain that. All right, well, welcome back. You're listening to Comfort Time Live. If you'd like to go on the web, you can watch us at comforttimealive.com. You can chat with us in the chat room. Have you had any issues in the past with contractors, handyman permits? Maybe you went to buy or sell a house and you found out that there was permits that were not taken care of. Maybe you found out that there was things in the house that were not taken care of that were supposed to be permitted or done by a licensed person, and they were not. Give us a call here at the studio, 772-220. Wait a minute, that's WSTU's number. 772-340-1590. You want to give us a call here at the studio if you have any questions or comments about that. Before we get to Title 24, I actually got a packet, a letter from a listener, and the listener had an issue with a contractor down south who, and this once again just goes to show you that you need to do your verification. The contractor was a little on the shady side to begin with. It did some things that she didn't think was 100% accurate. So the contractor, of course, said that he pulled a permit and wrote up an agreement, contract with her for a 2.5-ton air conditioning system to be installed. Well, she thought that was kind of odd because she was under the impression that she had a 2-ton air conditioning system. And so they come out, they replace the unit, and now the guy's walking around the house and he's trying to verify that the air conditioner's working. Well, the vents that he was supposedly told were controlling that air conditioner were not part of that system. They were part of another air conditioning system. So what had happened is the people that installed it were under the impression that that unit covered a lot more of the house than it did. So they ended up oversizing, increasing the size of the air conditioner, okay, without really telling the client. Now, supposedly by code, you're supposed to do what's called a load calculation. Well, if they had done a proper load calculation, they would have known exactly what was there. Well, on top of that, so she thinks things are a little fishy, so she calls the building department to kind of complain, and she finds out that there was never a permit even pulled on the job. Now, this is in Martin County. So she calls, find out that a permit wasn't pulled. She calls the contractor back. Contractor in a panic. Well, come to find out, he also, when he finally pulled the permit, he failed the inspection, which is the reason that these guys don't pull permits, is because most of them, in order to try to get the cheapest price they possibly can, they have to cut corners. Now, you as an individual who don't work in the air conditioning industry, most of you have no clue what it should be like. All you care about is when you turn it to 75 degrees, you're comfortable. That's it. So you don't know what type of tie straps are supposed to go down, or that there's supposed to be float switches, primary, secondary, that the heater's supposed to be marked and labeled, that there's some... You don't know these things. Now, if you do a lot of homework ahead of time, of course, or if you listen to Comfort Time Live all the time, you'll know all this stuff. So they failed miserably. Well, she's gone all back and forth, and I mean, this has happened like last year, all the way through to this year. She's got attorneys involved. Once she found out that they didn't pull a permit and they didn't do this stuff, she freezed the payment on the, so she's got an attorney going after these people. It's a nightmare for this poor lady. So she contacted me, and what she did is she sent me a packet. I mean, unbelievable packet of information for me to do a proper load calculation on her house to determine exactly what size air conditioning system should be on there, so that we can turn that into the building department and have the proper, because I tell you, a lot of these companies, when they come to your house, every single one of them that replaces your air conditioning system has to turn in a load calculation to the building department. But what a lot of these companies are doing is they are just going like for like, going, hey, well, if it worked all this time for you, it must be the right size. Well, believe it or not, 60 to 70% of all homes in Florida are oversized. Well, you're going to think it's cool. Well, of course, because an oversized unit is still going to cool the house, but it's not going to dehumidify the way it should. A good house should be able to keep humidity, if the air conditioning system is sized properly, between 45 and 55% at the peak of the day. Now, I'm not talking when it's, like right now when it's 67 degrees outside. I'm talking on a 90-some degree day, I should be able to get that air conditioning system down to 45 to 55%, depending on what the house itself. So anyway, so this poor lady, once again, because of unethical, now these are licensed contractors, actually a fairly big name around here. But they're licensed, but the whole thing is they're just trying to make a quick buck. So if they cut all these corners, they can save themselves close to $700 by cutting corners. Well, $700 is probably 2 to 3 times the profit that most, believe it or not, you're going to laugh when you hear this, $700 is probably 2 to 3 times more profit than 90% of the contractors make on an air conditioning system. And you'll laugh and say, well, wait a minute, now they're charging $4,000 or $5,000. There's no way they're making less than, yeah. So, and when they cut corners like this is what they do. And you got to be able to find a great contractor. And I'm not bragging, but Elite Electric and Air, I tell you, they are top notch. When they go out to a house, they do the load calc on the house, the true load calculation. They make sure they stand behind their work, and you will never, ever hear of their name in a situation like this where they got attorneys and stuff coming after them. So enough rambling on about that, but I figured, hey, if there's a listener, who's got information coming in, well, you may be having the same problem, so I want to make sure that I present that information to you as a listener as well. And if you've had anything like that, if you've had a bad circumstance with a contractor or any type of business in your home, call the show. Okay? You don't have to give your name. If your name is Joe, say your name is Bob. If your name is Betsy, say your name is Jonah or Joyce or if you want to feel like you're scamming people, call yourself Cliff or something like that.
No, hey, we just had a call. I took a call from a guy who wanted to know where to get that brand of vodka.
Where?
He wanted to know where.
Are you serious?
I told him we can't give that information out if they're not an advertiser.
At a liquor store.
Yeah, go find your own liquor store, pal.
Are you serious? You got a call for that?
No, I just, you threw me under the bus. I had to
I
catch
see.
myself.
I was going to say, maybe I need to start talking more about alcohol to get people to call.
Oh, well, no, you're just going to send them to the package store. You want them to not drink anything while listening to the show. That way they'll remember more of what you said.
I'm thinking maybe if they start drinking more, they'll think the show's more entertaining. And
well, it'll definitely make it more entertaining. I can admit to that. Yeah, the later, yeah. It's like being in a band at night. The later it gets, the better you sound.
That is true. Maybe I should start doing this show like at 1, 2 in the morning.
Well, that's a little too late. Then you've got those that made it, You want the folks that aren't going to make it that late,
No,
I
I'm not
think.
going to make it that late.
Those ones too late, they're going to be, So, but, if it's all about comfort, we've got to go there sometimes.
You never know. It's, a lot of us don't mind a nice glass of red wine or a nice glass of white wine. I like a nice Pinot Noir myself, and depends on if you're outside, maybe a nice Pinot Grigio goes good.
But you also got to be sensitive to those poor alcoholics out there that you're torturing right now. You're really messing up their life because they're trying to do a good thing. They're trying to get off the stuff. And here you are glorifying and they're jonesing, So we're going to have to bring like AA or NA or something in here to balance it out, the comfort part of it.
I guess taking my glass and swishing it in front of the microphone is probably not
No,
the best thing.
no, don't do that. And we don't want to hear the sound of an olive jar lid either. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not a big martini drinker, so I don't do the olives. The only time I do the olives is when I'm doing the Bloody Marys, which that's what I need to do. This Sunday morning, I'm having an open house, my first open house, Cliff.
Sounds like a bash to me.
I got a beautiful, a gorgeous home out on Indian River Drive in Jensen Beach. Absolute beautiful home. I mean, the kitchen in this place I showed the kitchen to Greg and Carol in the studio, and Greg just completely flipped out. But Sunday from 11 to 4, the house is on Indian River Drive, north of Jensen Beach Boulevard, just south of the Port St. Lucie entrance onto Indian
Walton
River Drive.
Road.
What road's that?
That's Walton Road.
Walton
Yeah,
Road,
that's
there you go.
Walton Road.
Just
Just
south of that
Walton.
road. And it's 12737 Indian River Drive. You'll see balloons, and you'll see my ugly mug on a sign out in the front of the road.
Hey, anybody who puts balloons out on the side of Indian River Drive has got to be all right.
But it's going to be fun. I'm going to have some appetizers or d'oeuvres and stuff there. Even if you're not looking to buy the house, you can come out there. We're going to do it from 11 to 4 this Sunday at 12737 South Indian River Drive. You can stop by anytime 11 to 4.
Wait a minute. Are you going to be there to personally show this place?
Yes, I am.
Oh,
personally.
in person.
In person. I'm going to be there from 11 to 4 this Sunday. And so if I'm going to be there, I'm going to make sure I'm going to have some good food there. So stop on by. You get some free food. With worst case scenario, I'll have some stuff out there. But it's actually a beautiful little house. And the nice thing is that where it sits, it's up on the hill a little bit, but it's close enough to the road that you can get a beautiful view of the river.
Oh, yeah.
Gorgeous
The
view
lagoon.
of the river. So the house was recently reduced from $419 to $399. But beautiful house. It's got a second lot in the back, so really, really nice. So that's where I'm going to be this Sunday, having a good time. So come on down and visit me, join me, and we'll get to know each other. So we're talking about Title 24. Now, in a nutshell, what Title 24 is Title 24 for the Southern California codes has to do with when you are selling your home or you're going to buy a home. They're talking about bringing those homes up to current energy codes what do I mean by energy codes? Well, when a new house is built today, that house, the materials being used in that home for the new construction have to have a certain thickness of insulation. The walls have to be built a certain way. The windows, you can't use single pane windows to build a house anymore, unless you're going to use like a 1300 SEER air conditioning system. You're typically going to have to go with double pane windows and low-E and things like that. You have to go with upgraded insulation. So there's a lot of things that have to be done for new construction. And the reason I know this is I don't know, probably close to 100 or more of these a month between all the builders out here. You know, we've got the Arthur Rutbergs, we have the Showcase Design Homes, we have Brown Dog Construction, Trendsetters. I mean, we have all kinds of builders that I work with, and so they send me all these brand new homes that they're building, and this form that I complete gets turned into the building department, and it says pass or fail. And a lot of little things come into consideration, such as, believe it or not, having a programmable thermostat in your house actually gives you points when you're building a new home. So all these little things come into consideration. Also, believe it or not, the reflectance, the color of your roof actually comes into play for solar absorbance and reflectance when you're doing the roof and you're building a house. You actually lose points for having a dark shingled roof anymore. Now, I'm not saying it won't pass with that, but so what Title 24 out there is doing is they are looking that when you sell your home, that you are going to be required, and now I don't know if it's the buyer or seller, and it's probably just like today, when you have a contract on a home, some things can be negotiated. So they can be negotiated that the buyer or the seller will be responsible for upgrading any of those things in the home that are needed to bring it up to code. Now, at first you stop and say, wait a minute, what happened to the grandfather clause? Grandfather clause should be taking care of that. It's an existing house. These laws didn't exist. Why should I have to bring it up to code? Well, to a point that makes good sense. However, you know, as these homes get older, you know, things start to just like our bodies, things just start to fall apart. They start to sag a little, and you start to lose their rigidity, and all of a sudden the house just isn't what it used to be. You got all kinds of leaks and gaps and holes, and what happens is you end up, the house being older, you end up wasting a lot of energy because of this. Now, the new Title 24, now that's what they're calling in California. When it comes over here to Florida, and I bet you wait, within the next 5 years, I promise you that something along those lines is going to be here in South Florida. Promise you that. I see it as a good thing because, you know, when you look at the statistics, and what you want to do is if you're a computer person, go online and pull up Title 24, California Title 24, and read all about it. You're really going to get a good idea of what's going on. But it's amazing that over a span of time, the thousands and thousands of dollars that it actually will save the homeowners. It was pretty impressive when I'm there looking at the charts, and I was looking at the differences in what, you know, obviously certain things are going to save more money than others. Now, what we're talking about is some of the stuff is minor. For instance, some of it is caulking around the windows in yours, making sure that there's better airtight seals, which that's easy to do. That, you know, that makes sense. You know, and that's something that you can probably get your handyman to do, because I do not believe that is there's a license or a permit requirement for that. So that's something that, you know, the guy that's been helping you with stuff on your house all this time can do, or you could do it yourself. It's pretty easy to do. And with some of these big box stores, you spend 15 minutes with the guy and, talk to him for a few minutes, and he'll tell you how to do the whole thing. So that's a great thing. So it's little things like that. Now, there may be some bigger things, like maybe there are some windows that are just absolutely just in pieces. Well, there may be a requirement to have that window replaced by that time. So this is some of the stuff. Now, this is already over in Texas, and if anybody is recently from Texas and has bought and sold a home, they probably know a little bit about it. If you'd like to call here and then tell us, or if anybody knows anything about this as well, please give us a call. We'd love to hear your input. 772-340-1590. You can give us a call here in the studio. And tell us a little bit about what you think Title 24 is. How do you think it's going to affect us? Do you think it's going to be a good thing? Do you think it's going to be a bad thing? Give us a call here and let us know what your thoughts are. If you were to buy or sell a home, and either the buyer or the seller were going to be forced, in addition to everything else they have to do, to provide energy-efficient upgrades in order to make the process go through, what do you think is going to happen? Are you going to embrace that? Are you going to fight it? What do you think? Give us your thoughts. Give us a call here. We're going to take another quick break, but give us your thoughts here, 772-340-1590. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about the ramifications and some of the cost savings involved in Title 24. You're listening to Cover Time Live on WPSL and WSTU.
Known for helping you keep that spark, now they'll help you keep cool. Elite Electric and Air, the official air conditioning sponsor of Comfort Time Live, has provided the best in heating and cooling customer service since 1988. If your electric bill is costing you more than 12 cents per square foot under air, you may be overpaying the utility company. Elite Electric and Air can help put that cash back in your pocket. Call Elite Electric and Air with 24-hour service. Dial 340-3797. That's 340-3797.
Elite Electric.
We can do it.
Elite Electric.
There's nothing to it.
Elite Electric.
Ooh, amazing.
Elite Electric.
Woogie, 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 woogie.
Elite Electric specializes in all of your electrical needs, from security lighting to surge protection and everything in between. How do you think they got their name? Elite Electric. Elite Electric has been family owned and operated on the Treasure Coast since 1988, and they're recommended by Comfort Time Live. Visit online at eliteelectricandair.com and learn more about their services. Elite Electric. Service today. Proud sponsor of Comfort Time Live every Thursday evening at 6:05 on WPSL 1590.
No matter what you want, just pick up your phone, say, come on, Elite.
And we'll get the job done.
We can do it.
Elite Electric.
There's nothing to it.
Elite Electric.
Did the housing market catch you off guard? Did your home lose value for no apparent reason? Don't let that happen again. Call Tom Platania with Keller Williams Realty now, 882-5700, where the first 25 people will get a free home value package worth $400 to keep you ahead of the market. The market's on the rise, but can change at any minute. Did you try and sell your home and just couldn't get the value you deserved? Give Tom Platania a call, 882-5700, where the first 25 people get a free home value package worth $400 and see how you can get back into the market and get the value you deserve. That's 882-5700 for your free home value package.
This is WSTU Stewart, Martin County's Heritage Station. This is also WPSL Port St. Lucie, the talk of the Treasure Coast, because Comfort Time Live is simulcast on both stations. And now, back to your host, Tom Platania.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, Cliff, you know why I came down to be in my home now? It's,
Let's see, why?
I thought people from Martin County would actually get jealous, since we're doing the show on both stations.
Yeah.
And, the northern station, we're always up there. I wanted to give some love to the Martin County people by actually being in my Martin County home while I did the show.
You know what? That's a really good attitude, Tom. I'm glad that.
Huh?
Yeah, and in spite of being a vodka drinker too, they're usually quite mean. But anyway,
Vodka?
No.
What vodka?
I'm just kidding. I'm just playing.
I would
But-
never drink while I'm on the air, Cliff.
I know that.
That's why I
'Cause,
take 3 breaks. That's why I take 3 breaks a show.
I had this friend. I knew this guy, and I never knew he was an alcoholic until I saw him sober once. Oh, oh. So I know you're not
I bet you.
drinking.
I guess I need to make sure you never see me sober then, right?
Well, I don't see you that often, but
Once a week.
You maintain pretty well.
I'm not too bad for a white guy, right?
Well, you're not too bad considering that you were driving all the way up here. You were never drinking when you were driving.
The reason that I'm also trying to cut back is my daughter, my 16-year-old daughter, just started her first job.
Oh wow!
Well,
you want to maintain the status of being a good example.
Well, what I'm doing for her is, with her mother, she lives with her mother. With her mother's schedule, okay, she was not able to get back and forth to work. Well, I live in Stewart. They live in Port St. Lucie. So I made her a deal. I said, here's the deal. I will bring you to work every single day till you save up enough money to be able to put a down payment for your insurance, pay for your insurance and your tags and everything like that.
Yeah.
I'll buy the car.
Yeah. Want me to tell you something? Can I make a comment on that?
Absolutely.
This is talk radio now, and I did
Absolutely.
raise.
I want to hear what you got to say.
I raised 5 daughters now.
Am I
Okay.
a sucker?
Yes. You need a hat that says taxi cab on it.
So what should I do?
Well, you know what though, you did give her you put the ball in her hands.
Well, because
So it's a decision she'll have to
get a
make.
job.
Yeah.
She needs to start. She needs to start working. She needs to do some things, and she's actually working in a field in childcare, and she's been studying for the past 4 years doing the childcare at school. So this is something that she's got her CPR license. She's got all kinds of stuff. So, so
You ought to
good
keep
for
her around if she knows CPR. You need to keep her around.
That's it. So I just, I'm trying to, I don't want to just give her stuff and then expect her to take. I want her to work for it. So
They understand a sense of accomplishment, you see.
Exactly.
And they appreciate the things that they've worked for much more than they appreciate the things that are given to them. I know that.
It. So, she's gonna pay half the car, but her paying half the car is gonna take her way too long. So I told her I'd buy the car. We're not gonna get anything too expensive, and then she'll pay me back for 50% of the car, which is what I did to my other son as well. And then she pays for her own insurance. She pays for tax, title tags, all that stuff.
Okay, you tell her she makes all the payments right.
Exactly.
Then you're going to get her a box of chocolate when you turn the title over to her.
So because I got to drive to Port St. Lucie every single day from Stewart, I'm trying to cut down on some other gas and whatnot. So I figured, hey, if we can get this technically worked out and I can do the radio show, I don't have to drive from my house all the way to the station every single Thursday.
Yeah.
And we could still do everything just as well and still have another great show, just like
And
that.
she'll have a car. She'll be working for it.
Yes.
You won't have to be the sucker. I mean the taxi.
Is that an L on my forehead?
I say that all in good fun, folks. Only because I know what I'm talking about.
There you go. If you've had that many girls, you do know what you're talking about. So anyway, so that's enough of that. So Title 24, bringing your house up the energy code. Me personally, I got mixed feelings about this. One from knowing how much energy can be wasted and how many thousands of dollars over a very short period of time can be saved by making energy efficient repairs. And now a lot of buyers are going to do a lot of these fixer-ups when they buy the house anyway. However, and maybe what will happen is maybe they'll give you a time frame. They'll say, okay, Mr. Seller's not going to make repairs, or he's not going to concession any money, or maybe he does, and then they're going to give the new owner maybe a specific amount of time. So as far as the energy savings concept goes, I really think that it's a smart thing. However, you can look at it on the other side of the fence and say, there's already so many other things involved in buying a home. The insurance, the taxes, the flood insurance that could possibly be needed, the insurance, the mortgage, the loans, the this, the that. There's so back over to the topic of conversation to our morning show on True Radio is buy versus rent. You know, if we're going to throw all these new things into the mix, we may end up forcing more people in areas like Florida, where I tell you, financially, you know, if you're looking at 7.5 to 8 years, 9 years, right around there is actually the break-even point for a buy versus sell. Where you can actually find a house for about the same monthly payment from a mortgage to a rental payment. But you don't have to worry about all the maintenance. What if the air conditioner breaks? That's $5-6 grand out of your pocket. It's not something you can wait around for. And it's not cheap. So there's some big things. Now, water heaters aren't that bad, but your air conditioner is probably the biggest thing that's going to break down on you instantaneously. That's going to cause a chunk of change to come out of your pocket. But if you're renting, you don't have to pay for any of that. So is this Title 24? You know, I want to do some more research from Texas because it's already been going on in Texas. And I'd love to find out, you know, what's going on there with them. What has been the result? What's been the feedback that they've got? Obviously, if it's been so negative, California wouldn't be adopted. So there's got to be something. There's got to be some contingencies and things of that nature. So really interested in finding out about that. But do some research yourself because I tell you, it's going to come around the corner here, and you're going to get stuck with it if you're not aware of it. So do your homework. If you're thinking about buying a home or selling a home in the next 5 years, you want to make sure you do some research on that. And also, if you're going to be doing any work, back to that listener who sent me all that information. And she lives down in the Cuesta area, nice little area down there. And I tell you, it's a shame because it should have been a very simplistic job for her. And she just really got taken advantage of by, you know, and this is the first time I've heard of something from this company. But it's funny, you know, once you hear something, once you see something or find out about something, then all of a sudden everything pops out of the woodwork. And it's funny, you know, about a month ago that she called me, but now all of a sudden I've heard multiple complaints about the same company for similar problems. And it's, I tell you, if it only happened because they got caught, but because what they did, a lot of companies out there don't get caught because the building departments don't have the manpower to go around and police it. And whether it's right, whether you think it's right or wrong, it's the right thing to do. And in this instance right now, we got a poor lady who's spending thousands and thousands of dollars to get this company to fix this problem. And they're pushing back. The building department is trying to help her out because the job failed inspection. So, you know, we know it's wrong. It wasn't put in right. It's failing. It's the responsibility of the contractor. But now the contractor's saying, well, she stopped payment on our check, so I'm not going to fix anything. So now it's like a catch-22. Wait a minute. If you'd done the job right first to begin with, she would have stopped your check. If you had the permit before the job started, or when you were supposed to, would be a problem right now. But this is the stuff that you listen to Channel 21 reports English. You hear this stuff all the time. You hear this stuff all the time. And these poor building department guys, you know, they just follow the laws. You know, it's whether I agree or disagree with everything they do, which I don't. But I guess you could say they're doing the best they can with what they have to do. But, you know, contractors like this, and you know, you see some of these guys, and this is how they grow. They prey on the weak. They prey on the weak, and they prey on the people who are unaware, and then all of a sudden, and then this lady, I tell you, it was impressive. You should see the package. Impressive. But if she had done that kind of homework ahead of time, probably wouldn't be in the same situation that we are now. So, but anyway, so Title 24, make sure you do your homework on that. Comfort Time Live is trying to help you folks out for years to educate you on all different kinds of things. You know, we've had some people recently here to help you with your personal life and better yourself in business and in your jobs and whatnot. And last time it was talking about how to better your voice
Yeah, and you know, he didn't. He gave us a good review too.
Oh, he did.
Yeah, he said you sounded all right,
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well,
except you said water instead of water.
Hey, that's just. I'm from Jersey. I think we all say water, don't we?
Well, you can always tell somebody from New Jersey because they say things like "foidy doity boyd sitting on a coib stone, choipin boipin and eating doity oithworms." Where you gonna be Sunday? Tell us again about this
we're
thing
gonna be
Sunday.
We're going to be at Indian River Drive. I'm going to be doing my very first open house as a licensed realtor. Beautiful home, 12737 South Indian River Drive in Jensen Beach, just south of Walton Road or just north of Jensen Beach Boulevard. I'm going to have some refreshments and little knickknacks and snacks to nibble on. And, you know, even if you're not looking to buy or sell a house right now, come on in, stop down, just to say hi to me. Let me know that at least one of you is out there listening, and I'd be okay with that. So,
How many of you just wish driving down Indian River Drive one time, you wish you could go into one of these houses just to see what it's like to live on Indian River Drive?
There you go.
Wow.
There you go. And the yard is gorgeous. The front yard is beautiful. White picket fence around the front. I mean, this is something that somebody would have built years ago for the American dream. You know,
Wow.
The house with the white picket fence and the dog running from the yard overlooking the Indian River. You couldn't beat it. And I tell you, the kitchen in this house is, if you are a cook, the kitchen in this house is to die for. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
Wow.
Beautiful, beautiful.
So the address.
Address 12737 South Indian River Drive, Jensen Beach, just south of Walton Road, just north of Jensen Beach Boulevard. So
Now, is there-
hopefully I'll see everybody on this Sunday coming
Yeah.
up.
Is there a number that you'd give everybody in case they want to double check and make sure with you? Because for some reason, phone numbers are a little easier to remember than addresses.
882-5700. Give
Wow.
me a call, 772-882-5700. If you decide you'd like to come on out this Sunday from 11 to 4 and visit me at the open house. And hey, folks, you know we're always going to end the show with a Zig Ziglar quote.
All right.
Some of us learn from other people's mistakes. The rest of us have to be the other people.
That's exactly right. What a note to end on. Tom Platania, Comfort Time Live. What's that website again?
ComfortTimeLive.com is where you go to chat. Watch the
Yep.
show if you missed any part of it.
ComfortTimeLive.com. Hey, this is WSTU Stewart, Martin County's Heritage Station, and this is also WPSL Port St. Lucie, the talk of the Treasure Coast. Comfort Time Live is heard all over these two stations all week long. Check out the station websites for details, WPSL.com and WSTU1450.com. It's 7 o'clock.